Hello, hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be on why I believe people, especially white people, should stop volunteering in African countries. So before I begin the video, can I ask you please to subscribe to my channel, and if you like the content of this video, also like it as well. So let's get into it. So now I'm going to go through the reasons why I believe people should stop volunteering in Africa, and the first reason is probably the most obvious, probably what people know already, is that it creates a state of dependency. What I mean by this is that certain communities within that African country become accustomed to having volunteers or having people or organizations there to give them what they need. So they're used to handouts, they're used to hand-me-down clothes, they're used to charities, they're used to people giving them food, water, and that dependency also generates a sense of expectancy. So they are no longer grateful for these things. These are things that they expect. I've had people come up to me, children come up to me saying, give me this, give me that, because they're used to it. You know, I've had teachers in schools that I've been to say to me that, oh, previous volunteers have done this, so they now expect me to also do that. And I've told them, no, that's not what I came here for. I came here to teach, not to be giving out things away to you guys. That's not going to be beneficial, because if I bring sweets to the class, they're going to eat it before they know it, the sweets are gone. But if I can teach them certain things, that will be more beneficial for them in the long run. And another reason why I believe volunteering is detrimental to these African communities is that it actually changes the dynamic of the community. In some organizations that I've volunteered in the past, they've told me that more people are coming towards this area. They're building their own houses, you know, shanty areas, to be able to access the facilities that are being given away. Because obviously if you live in a more secluded area and you come to town for work and you see that families are being given things, they're being given food, drink, they're being given childcare facilities, they're being given free education with this volunteer house and this charity and stuff like that. You see that, and then you would want a piece of it as well. Naturally, I would too. So obviously people are moving to these areas, they're deserting their own areas, their own native lands, and coming over to exploit these facilities. And then these facilities, these volunteer agencies, facilities also rely on donations. What if people don't want to give? Then you have an influx of people coming to you and expecting a service that you've been providing consistently for a while now, and you can't just then turn around and say no. It's a tricky situation, and it's one that I don't think volunteer agencies should be putting themselves in the first place. So now I'm gonna get on to the reasons why I think that white people in particular, when volunteering, can be the most detrimental for these African communities. So now I've met and I've heard stories of a lot of white people who come to Africa and to these different African communities with their own negative perceptions of what the volunteer experience is going to be like. You know, some people come with some people come with negative perceptions and are pleasantly surprised. Some come with negative perceptions and are met with those negative perceptions that they already had in their head. You know, they're faced with the reality of it. Either way, as someone who's volunteered in the volunteer house with these naive people, either way, I don't want to be hearing your ignorant shit. I don't want to be hearing your racist comments. I don't want to be hearing the dumb shit that comes out of your mouth. Like, it's not fair for other people who don't have rich parents who paid for them to come over here, who've spent their own money to come actually here to help a community. It's not fair for them to hear you say your stupid racist shit. And I've had stories, shocking stories from people, volunteer organizations tell me themselves that they've had people come to the volunteer house and spew racism. You know, they call the people here dirty N-words. You know, they don't respect the community they've come to volunteer in, and you just think, well, why did you come in the first place if you know that you are not going to be respectful, you know? And white people often forget, when they come to volunteer, you're not going to be in the nice parts of a country. So don't think that this is all the country offers, because obviously this is not the nice part of the country. That's why they need help. It's like me going to Manchester and spending a week helping out in homeless shelters, and then me thinking that that's the whole of the UK. The whole of the UK is like this. No, it's ridiculous to even think. But white people do this, you know. They come to a certain small part of Kenya or Tanzania or any African country. They come to the smallest part of it and then think a whole continent, not even just the country that you volunteered in, but the whole continent itself, they actually think everyone lives like this. And it's just absurd. Like, the things you hear is absurd. I've had volunteer hosts tell me that white people have openly said that, you know how if you're African, you know, like, women will carry their children on their backs and then tie like a wrapper and then walk around. I've had people who own volunteer agencies tell me that white people have come over and called and mocked the women for doing this and called them things like kangaroos and camels. You know, how can you come to another country and then be disrespecting the people in that country? And that's not even the reason why I think it's the most detrimental. I think it's when they leave, because when they leave, they then spread their biased opinions, they then spread their inaccurate experiences of the trip to their people when they go home. So they're now spreading these lies, justifying their racist behavior by laughing it off and making Africans seem dumb and seem silly. They don't see the logic behind it, so then they make fun of it and make it seem like it's stupid when it's not. Another reason why I think white people in particular shouldn't volunteer in African countries is because they exploit the natives in those countries. And I've seen this firsthand. I've seen white people go into clubs, pay natives to kiss them. I've seen white people go to little children in the street, pay them to dance for them, pay them to do dance for them, say certain things on the camera. And I just think this is exploitative. Can you even imagine a situation where that is okay, to pay a child to dance for you so you can record them? Like, if it was in the UK, you can't just go to a random child in a park and say, listen, I'm gonna give you £1 and you dance for me while I record that. Nobody will allow that shit to happen, but they think it's okay and they get away with these things in other countries, you know. It's disgusting. Like, don't be paying children, don't be exploiting natives in their own country. It's disgusting. And then another reason why I think white people in particular shouldn't be volunteering is because don't fully immerse. So I've been with organizations which are run by white people, and you know, the way the organization is set up is fine, but the mindsets behind the white people in the hierarchy that are running this organization is flawed. You know, they still don't have an open mind when they've come here. It's like, you know, this is going to be a completely different lifestyle, so why are you acting like it's a shock to you? Why are you saying ignorant stuff? Like, I'll give you an example of one of the ignorant things that I've seen in my time volunteering. I was with this company, and it was the most expensive company I've been with, and it's also the only company that I've been with that is set up by white people. They had an African themed night, and I was excited. Yeah, they were doing the night to raise money for one of the projects that they were running, which is absolutely fine. I was like, yes, I'm gonna donate, I'm gonna be happy they're doing this, because Africa, bear in mind, Africa is a huge continent with 54 different countries. So I'm thinking, how are they gonna represent the majority of the countries, or even regions like north, west, east, south, how they're going to pull that off. So anyway, I was excited for the night. Please tell me, please, because to this day I'm still trying to figure out the answer. This is 3 years ago. I'm still trying to figure out the answer. Please tell me why. I walk over to where they're doing the theme night. They're playing Nigerian music and they're trying to teach us how to twerk. How to what? How to twerk. They're trying to teach us how to twerk, and not only were they trying to teach us how to twerk, they were saying, oh yeah, it's very common for African women to twerk when they're dancing. And no, Becky, sit down please. So after that, not only did they have the audacity to do that, they now added extra insults. They made us sit on the floor. They turned off all the lights, as in turned off all the lights, and then they told us that they just put a big pot of rice, and they told us to put our rice and our stew on our plates like this, and we'll just eat. We'll eat in the dark, on the floor, with our hands, and no cutlery for even dishing out the food. And then they had the audacity to say that's how the majority of Africans eat their meal. Where did you see that one? Where did you see that one? Because even in the schools we were volunteering in, they had cutlery for the children. Where did you see that? I'm still confused. I'm actually still confused to this day why they did that. And then when we've now finished our food, they gave us just water to wash our hands, no soap, no nothing. I was like, okay. And then they now put a film on. They now decided to put a film on of a white guy traveling in different African countries saying, oh, look how they live in poverty. Oh, look how this is. This is when I left, because I knew at this point, like, I'm not gonna condone this kind of behavior. But you saw the white volunteers, they were like, oh yeah, I understand. Understand what? Because me, I'm still confused 3 years later. So yeah, from that moment I was just like, this company, you're done to me. Like, I'm never gonna come here again. My experience from there was just flawed. Like, I was like, I cannot fully commit myself to here, knowing the people behind this is how they view Africa. I was just done. Like so now I'm going to talk about what I think should be happening in communities instead of volunteer agencies. So I don't have a problem with volunteering agencies. I have a problem with how they impact the community. So, you know, if you're creating self-sustaining things within the community, so if you're teaching the people vocational skills, or you're helping them to build their own brand so they can make their money independently, absolutely fine. In fact, I implore those kind of communities. But if you are going to schools and giving handouts every weekend, charity-based volunteering, that's the thing I have a problem with. You know, we should be empowering these African communities, which the government is obviously neglecting, and we should be helping them to become more sustainable, helping them to achieve jobs, so that when you go, there isn't a void that they need to fill. You know, they aren't left with nothing. They have skills, they have qualifications, they have things that they can take forward and use. So yeah, that's what I think. And I think there should be more of a drive and a push for these governments to change. Don't just donate money but sign petitions and things like that. I think that's more empowering for a government to see that people out there actually want to see them change, actually want to see them help their own community. So that's more empowering for them. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye.